Okay, so the workaround to that is if you come back here and before you power this thing up, so obviously, we've gone through our update, so, we're safe to power down and all that. But you come back here and unplug this one on your first time power up. If you're worried about that, something going wrong and you having to shut things down, or I think it's a pretty good idea. One time I essentially did shut these things down, and I think it was the roll servo and the pitch servo hadn't finished updating. They take a long time. And stuff really wasn't working out quite right. And I kind of got to thinking about it, and I did not remember confirming that everything on the CAN bus had updated. I was pretty sure that was what was wrong. So, of course, I walked over to the shelf and I just grabbed another brand new GDU and then put it in. And since it's strapped on the back through the back shell to tell it what it is. So everything on this PFD, the reason it knows it's a PFD instead of an MFD is a wire that's in that back shell, a strapping wire, grounding wire basically. So when you plug that in, it's like, oh, I'm a PFD. Oh, there's an update. It will push that update out to everybody. Everybody that has it's like, already got it. But then the autopilots will, not having it finished, will get it, and that worked, and it fixed them. And so one thing you could do, I haven't had to do this, but that fixed my mistake of not fully letting every single thing update. And sure enough, that must have been what was happening, because then suddenly the autopilots would configure and the servos would configure and they would behave. I was pretty certain that's what I'd done, because I looked at everything and I'm like, okay, still got the autopilots. I remember seeing they weren't done, and then maybe 10 minutes go by and I'm just like, great, we're good. Snapped it off, didn't check to make sure they were done. So as you can see, this is powered up. You could even put this in, configuration mode, put it in update mode. Do you want to update? Yes. Then it'll push that to everybody, but this guy won't get anything. It's unplugged. If everything works, plug her in or cut the power off. And let's say you see that everything is updating, but the MFD, there's just nothing, no data. Well, we've got our CAN network and a power wire on the same plug. So now you can plug in the PFD and, just line it up and snap it in there. Don't jiggle it in. And now that this is coming up, it will then update. Well, let's say that for whatever reason, it didn't work. Everybody's updating, but you kept that one offline like I just did. And you can either do it through like maybe the VPX, or if you have a switch on it, which would kind of be stupid, you could do that, or unplug it like I did. Just unplug it from the CAN network and its power. And that way, if you were like, oh shoot, or just for whatever reason, it blips out, you had to shut it off, and you were like, well, shoot, I didn't, that's not grounded, or this isn't grounded, and everybody isn't finished, and you shut it off, 99% of the time, it will absolutely work if you replace this PFD with any other G3X that doesn't have a software version that high. And then if you have your update, like on your flash drive, and you put that in there and start the update, it won't take now because this one's already updated. Then since this one's already updated, it's not going to push that update to everything in the CAN bus. But if you take that one over there, put it over here, start your update, it thinks, oh, I'm a new PFD, and oh, I'm out of date. Do you want to update? Yes. And it'll push it to everybody, and anybody that got a glass half full, it'll go ahead and fill it up, and things will start behaving. So I had that workaround because I had, like 2 or 3 more of these. So I went over and grabbed one off the shelf, and it's as simple as the 4 screws, slide it out, putting the new one in because everything's retaining that back shell, putting in the flash drive, updating everything, and that fixed those autopilot servers because I basically had done what I told you do not do. And it kind of mentions, just make sure that you have enough power, and it'll mention, not necessarily in fine print, but it'll mention, hey, make sure that you let the update complete before ever shutting it off or terminating the power, because this could really screw up some LRUs and might result in you having to send the unit back to Garmin. That should be like in big red letters, because this happens to people all the time. And so if you're having trouble with an LRU, you might have done that. So if you're having to throw in one of these systems, you might think ahead a little bit and leave this guy unplugged before you turn your power on, and let everybody do their thing, because these G3Xs update in like 5 seconds. Everybody else, certain ones can take a long time because they don't have, I guess, the processing power. And then when you're like, okay, we're good, then plug your MFD in and it will get the update. So you can do that when everything is updating and configuring. You can keep stuff shut off or shut it off before you start the update. And then once that update has been pushed out, you can turn them on, even if it's 10, 20, 30 minutes later, as long as this hadn't been powered down, and it'll push that update to them. Don't power this down though when everything's in that mode. Once you shut it off, it's just like, okay, that's it, and the door shuts. And so if you happen to do that, and then you had left this offline, you can be like a switcheroo and do it all again, and it'll work. So that's the workaround I found, because I had one of these laying around. But if you happen to be putting in 2 of these, that is one way that you can get around that.